it's nice to meet you too. Here, let me scoot closer to my light. That might be good. I'm originally from upstate New York, but I moved down to North Carolina about 12 years ago, and we've been here ever since. I'm signed in. The Zoom that I have on my computer is actually my business coach's Zoom, because we meet weekly and host a mastermind group. And the mastermind group is called Business Unleashed Mastermind, and I host it through Zoom so people from all over the world can tune in. So we have a guy tuning in from where is it? Ireland, that tunes in every week to talk with us on Zoom. So it's very cool. But that's why it had her name on it. Well, and I appreciate you doing these and inviting me to be part of it. So thank you.
For me, it's better to go with somebody else going live, right? And then till you get used of it, and then from the time they can do them by themselves. That's my purpose, also to help them. And of course, the guests are the people that are invited coming to this live, and I know you can share a lot of knowledge and experience and your breakthroughs, things like that, because before I'm the only one going live by myself. It's only me. So I think about why not inviting other people who are more experienced and have knowledge, so they can learn from not only me, from other people also all over the world. And thank you so much for that.
Absolutely. I have a hard time doing the lives too, because I feel like it's just the me show, whereas I would rather have it be a conversation in interview type format, because I think when you're in a conversation, you forget that the camera is even there because you're just talking. And that's usually when the best nuggets of information come out too, is when you're able to just connect with somebody and have that conversation. So it's important to be able to do that. But I'm with you. I think it's great that you're doing that though, to get more used to having the camera.
Yes, thank you so much. Okay, so I wanna talk about your business, or what are you doing, what you love to do, your passion. When did you start doing this Zoom call to people all over the world?
Oh, so BU started after I got my accreditation with the Knowledge Business Blueprint. So I signed up in May. I was part of the first wave to sign up. I actually signed up for that course for my birthday. It was a present to myself. And it was great. It was a really good course. We're tuning back in now to listen to the Ultimate Edge. But me and my business coach partnered because I wanted to run a mastermind. I wanted to start getting practice with it, but I didn't want to do it alone, much like you were just talking about not doing just the Facebook Live videos alone. I wanted to do a mastermind group with somebody else who's done mastermind groups before and get in front of her audience, as well as bring some of my audience to her. And so it just seemed to be a natural fit. So we started a Business Unleashed mastermind group back in June. And actually, I'm a member of the American Marketing Association. So what we did to kick off the mastermind group was we had the American Marketing Association sponsor the first breakfast. And when they sponsored the first breakfast, the Charlotte and the Raleigh chapter cross-promoted it to all of the American Marketing members. And we had like 30 people at the first meeting. And from there, we were able to recruit 10 to come be part of BU Mastermind. And so the masterminds continued to grow since then. We keep it really reasonably rated. Like, we're only charging $30 a month, and that helps us cover the cost of breakfast. But being able to do the Zoom thing allows us the ability to invite people from all over the world, and people who are members who can't be physically in this space with us during the day when we have it. They can tune in live, or they can watch the video after, because I actually record it and then I put it into our private LinkedIn group.
Yes.
Yeah.
I see on your description, it's a marketing consulting.
That's right. So SpinFrogs actually started it'll be 2.5 years in November ago. So 2017. And I started in June of 2017. And I've been doing marketing and advertising or sales since I was very first out working. So 20 years ago is when I started doing some form of marketing, advertising, or sales. And it occurred to me in like my second or third job, where I was the marketing director for a dental office, that I'd been doing marketing for my whole career. and that was something that I needed to kind of pay a little bit more attention to. So I started focusing in on different ways to market and advertise a business. I started looking at the changes that were happening in the industry in terms of marketing itself. And I really started to develop this natural wonder and curiosity of what makes good advertising, what makes good marketing, what makes good branding, and why do some businesses like Nike and Pepsi Cola succeed and other businesses fall and they fail? And why is that statistic of 90% of businesses fail in the first 5 years? Why does that exist? And I started looking into some of that, and some of what I've discovered is a couple of things. One, our small business owners don't have the same resources in terms of time or capital to be able to scale the way that the larger businesses do. Our smaller businesses tend not to be the ones that are reinventing something new. They tend to be reselling or repackaging something that already exists. So since they're not recreating something or being inventive with it, they have a harder time getting funding. And especially in today's marketplace, if you're looking for a venture capitalist, a lot of venture capitalists are looking for technology. If you're an organization that is being innovative, if you have a piece of technology, you will get funded very easily. If you have something in where I live in North Carolina, we have the medical bio center. So if you have something that's technology and medical related, you will get funding very, very, very easily here. But if you don't have that, then you're going to have a hard time getting funding. And I think that's why 90% of small businesses fail in the first 5 years. So that was one of the reasons that I took the KBB course. And one of the reasons that I started that mastermind group is to provide services to those small businesses and give them access to information that they otherwise would have to pay thousands of dollars for, that they don't necessarily have access to do.
Marketing, sometimes people confuse about marketing, branding, or things like that. So how can you easy explain, especially for small business owners, things like that, how to market their small business to to grow and brand their own business?
Yeah. So when we consider brand and we look at the larger companies that have been successful with their brand, one of the things that they've done right is they create this core value within their organization, what it is to be that company. And that is depicted through the colors, it's depicted through the imagery, it's depicted through the messaging. Everything that is related to that brand, it's depicted through their customer service and through their production. So every single person within the organization breathes that culture and lives that culture. And because of that, it is their promise to their consumer. So the consumer knows what they're going to get. Think about Nike, for example. Nike's promise to the consumer is they are an athletic gear, and they are going to help you perform at your best because that's how they're designed. That's their promise. If we look at Chick-fil-A, their promise is service with a smile. We're never going to get your order wrong. It's always going to be fast. It's always going to be hot, and it's always going to be right. That's their promise, and you can expect that. So when we look at these bigger brands and we start to study what they're doing in terms of their marketing, all they're doing in their marketing is depicting messaging that reiterates that promise over and over again. And so small businesses could then take a minute, take a step back, and stop thinking about the thing that they're trying to sell, the service that they're trying to sell, or the product that they're trying to sell. And they take a step back and look at what is the promise that they're fulfilling for their customers? What is the promise they're fulfilling for their internal staff? They'll then be able to change their marketing message such that it resonates with their community, and they too can become a large company that lasts for hundreds of years.
They have a training on how to market the products of that company, or do you think that is a different kind of marketing than the company itself?
Oh, gotcha. So a company that doesn't have sales reps versus a company who does. Yeah. They are relying more on their advertising. So they're relying more on commercials, TV commercials, radio commercials, paid ads in Google and Facebook, They're relying more on their search engine optimization. They're relying more on that paid product endorsement, their celebrity endorsements, or their influencer endorsements. Whereas an organization who has a sales team, they're relying on their sales team to go out and generate the sales. So they're not necessarily investing as much in their advertising. Now they might be investing in advertising, but they might not be investing as much in advertising. Instead, they're going to invest more in trade show events. They're going to invest more in networking opportunities. They're going to invest more in collateral, like your branded materials, your business cards, your brochures, that kind of stuff, because their sales reps need something to leave behind for that business owner to then interact with after the fact. So that's the two different kinds of marketing that happens, whether you're a business that has sales reps or a business who doesn't have sales reps.
Yes, yes. So marketing, the company that has sales reps. So what kind of marketing strategy that those sales reps do then companies?
Well, that's going to depend on the culture of the organization. So some organizations that have sales reps want the sales reps doing cold calls. So there's a lot of insurance organizations that are around today that focus in on phone calls. They just are dialing. They're dialing people all day long. They're getting access to lists and they're making those phone calls. Other organizations would rather their sales reps be external sales reps, which means they go out of the office. And when they're out of the office, their job is to network. Their job is to do speaking engagements. Their job is to do sales appointments at the locations of those businesses that they're prospecting. They might be doing cold calls, but they're not cold calls by a phone. They're cold calls by door knocking. They're walking up to the business and they're knocking on the door and they're walking in and talking to the business owner or to a decision maker. So that's going to be the difference between an internal and an external sales rep. So it's going to depend on the organization and the culture of the organization and the type of sales rep that they want to have. But that's basically how a sales rep would work. It's going to really, one of the things that I focus in on is helping organizations that have external sales reps, helping them find networking opportunities, helping them to better understand how to connect and engage with people at those networking opportunities. Where I live, I don't know what it's like where you are in Japan, but where I live, we have a networking event 3 days a week or 3 times a day, 7 days a week. There's some place to go all the time. So how do we know which ones to invest our time in, and how do we make it effective for us? Because you can chew up so much time in your week if you're networking all the time, but not getting any return for it. So that's what I really focus in on, is how do you go and network on purpose? How do you network with intention so that you can be producing something for yourself or for the people that you're meeting?
So in your mastermind course, what's inside the course, or when people get into your mastermind, what they get and what they can learn inside of your mastermind?
Yeah, so inside of BU, they have access to a John Maxwell business coach 4 hours a month. They also have access to me as a marketing consultant for 4 hours a month. And then all of the other businesses that are in there. And we have a wide variety of different industries that are represented, from the health and wellness industry to manufacturing and kind of everything in between. So what to expect? It really is a come with a success, come with a challenge, so that we can mastermind the challenge together and we can celebrate the successes together. So every week we start off with, what was a win for you this week? Because we want to start the meeting off with the right mindset of, we've won and we're being supportive of each other. And then what's something that we've learned this week? What was something that we had to overcome in order to get that win? So what was that learning moment? And then what's something that we're challenged with this week that we're trying to overcome as we go into the next week? And we just kind of, whoever feels like talking talks, and they share that. We also have a book of the month that we read. So this month we're getting into High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard. It's an excellent book talking about the habits of the successful and the high achievers. What do they do? Because we're not innately born as a high achiever. We're not innately born as success. We have to train ourselves to be there. And so that book teaches us the habits of those successful people. So we're reading that. That way, no matter where we are in our business, no matter how long we've been there, we're always on the same page. And that's a great way for us to stay in touch with each other. We also occasionally have opportunities to do trade show events. And as a member of BU will purchase the table, and then all of the members get to come and represent themselves at those events. Plus the access to the videos online. So that's really kind of everything that you get when you're a member of BU. The conversations have been amazing. Like I said, we started in June, and we've had a breakthrough every single week. Somebody has learned something throughout the conversation. It's allowed people to expand and open up what they're doing so that they can do it differently, so that they could do it better, because we all learn faster through other people, and we don't all have time to read every day. So it's a way for us to learn and read without having that pressure of reading every day.
Yeah. So do you have a specific time? What about for other people live in other country? Our time zone is so different. So what if they want to join, or do you have other time for other time zone?
So what we do is we record all of the videos. So we have a private LinkedIn group. And so for different time zones, for example, it would probably be easy for you to tune in because we meet at 8:30 in the morning. So we go 8:30 to 10 every Tuesday morning. So that time frame might work for you, but somebody who is ever so slightly past your time zone, or maybe in a time zone earlier than us, like in Missouri, 8:30 is 7:30 their time in Missouri. So it's harder for people to tune in Missouri. And in California, we're talking 4:30 in the morning. So it's really early there. But if they're a member of BU, they get to watch the video afterwards, and they can still comment in that private group and share their breakthroughs and share their successes throughout the conversation, so we can still engage with them after the fact.
So they will never miss anything, even though they didn't go on the date that you are going your live or your Zoom call, right? Because they can
Exactly. And when I edit, I don't edit anything out. I just add in the splash screen and what the topic of the day is, and that's it. So, and then I adjust the volume so everybody can be heard, but I don't edit anything out. So it is usually an hour to an hour and a half long video, and then they can watch whenever they want. And if they earmark certain times that they're like, this was a good question, I need to come back to this, then they can easily pop back into that video anytime and answer that question. The benefit of that too is if you become a BU member now, you have access to our very first BU conversation. So you have access to all of them going back to the very first one. So it's a great opportunity to continue to participate in those conversations, even though they're months ago. So you don't miss anything.
Okay, so do you have any time frame for this course or mastermind, like for example 6 months or a year, things like that? You have enough time?
No, this one's going to be an evergreen, so it's always going to be there, because I think as people's businesses grow, their challenges change, and there's always going to be a need to get some support somewhere. And as we have different levels of business professional coming into the organization and sharing their successes and sharing their breakthroughs, we'll have different levels of breakthrough throughout. So I don't think that there's a time frame. I think it's just going to be, you come when it's easy and convenient, and you don't when it's not. And that's all. Yeah.
So anything else you want to add on your mastermind group or course that you can want to send to message to the people?
Yeah, so I think one thing I do want to add is a tip for how people can connect. A lot of our connection is happening digitally these days. So one way to better develop those relationships, even if they're not in person, is if you can find a way to help somebody else. So if you take the time to learn about them and figure out what's going to help you be successful, that's what I want to do. I want to help you be successful, whatever that means. If it's a contact that you need, I might not have that contact, but there's only 6 degrees. I actually think it's 3 degrees of separation between me and anybody else in the entire world. So if I don't know who it is, somebody I know knows somebody who knows the person that you need. So we'll figure it out. But I can't help you if I don't know what your needs are. So I think if everybody walked into networking, whether it be in person or digitally, with the mindset of who can I help today, I think changes what you can get out of the whole experience, and it helps you build deeper, longer lasting relationships.
Yes. Let me know where they're gonna contact you, or if somebody wants to join to you the mastermind, just let us know the information, or if you have a URL or a website, so they can out and connect to you.
Okay. So the best way to reach me is I'm on every social media platform except Twitter as SpinFrogs. It's SpinFrogs. And then if you go to spinfrogs.com, you'll see a masterminds tab up at the top. You can click that button, and then there's a green box that says BU Mastermind. You can click that. It'll give you all the details about it so you can get registered. And when you register yourself, it'll give me an email address so that way I can send you the invite to the Zoom link when we have it up first thing on Tuesday mornings. But that's the best way to reach me, is to visit my website. You can submit a contact form there, or you can visit me on social media. That's a good place to reach me. Instagram at SpinFrogs, LinkedIn at Terri Watkins or at SpinFrogs, and then Facebook at SpinFrogs as well.
Thank you so much for your time,
and likewise, thank you. I appreciate it. I know it's getting late where you are, so thank you very much for inviting me and taking the time to ask really good questions. So I really appreciate it.